Hi, I'm Chris Hart, cinematographer for EASTMAN Kodak Company. What you're about to see is a comparison of various film formats discussed in the presentation. First, we'll be looking at our 50D stock in bright sunlight conditions. As you'd expect, the low-speed stock in Super 16 looks great for grain and detail and tonality. Now cutting to the 2-perf format, we see the image has better definition and tighter grain, as we'd expect from a larger negative. Here's a 3-perf format, slightly better in grain and sharpness when compared to the 2-perf image. And now with the 4-perf. As you may know, the actual negative exposed here is the same size as the 3-perf, so the quality of the image is the same as well. A close-up is always a good scene to evaluate the sharpness of a film system. The 4-perf beautifully renders the woman's face and her hair with a very natural appearance. One difference to keep in mind when considering 3-perf versus 4-perf is the smaller amount of space between the frame lines, which limits the amount of reframing that can be done in post. 2-perf also has a thin frame line, which limits vertical reframing. Here, the Super 16 presents us with a very respectable alternative to the larger negatives. The low-speed stock has a very tight grain structure and holds up well in this scene. Here's an example of a more challenging image shot on the 500T stock, where the grain is more apparent throughout the image. Later on, we'll take the same scene and use some grain management tools to reduce any undesirable grain. Now here's the same 500T stock, but in 2-perf. The grain is less apparent when compared to the Super 16. In a single stimulus viewing, it stands up very well. The 3-perf scene looks smooth and sharp even in the flat walls of the background. The larger negative size helps the image quality with this high speed stock. The 19 has a tight grain structure and looks very clean in the 4-perf image. And it's easy to see why the Vision 3 5219 is our most popular and versatile camera negative film. Now we're shooting with our 250D stock. In this scene, the vintage car is the main character. A soft overhead bounce light created a beautiful highlight across the car hood. The detail and texture in the front grille of the car and the barn woodwork are good places to watch for sharpness. Here in the 3-perf, the grille work is as sharp as the previous shot, and the subtle details in the barn wood can be seen just as clearly in this 3-perf format. As you can see, the 2-perf captures this scene very well, considering the smaller image area. Switching to Super 16, you would expect some loss in picture quality, but as with the 2-perf, the picture holds up very well. In this segment, we represent the various formats in side-by-side comparisons. We start with the Super 16 and wipe to the 2-perf image. As expected, the 2-perf has a tighter grain structure and the image appears sharper. What you perceive as improved sharpness often correlates to the difference in image size. Now we wipe from the 2-perf to the 3-perf image. And again, the difference in image size contributes to the higher quality. To complete the side-by-side comparisons for this scene, let's look at the 3-perf compared to the 4-perf. Here's the close-up sequence again, this time as a side-by-side comparison. The differences, while the same as the first A-B comparison, perhaps appear a bit more noticeable in this critical side-by-side. It's a very simple formula. Bigger negatives equal better quality. Again, we start with the Super 16 image and wipe to the 2perf equivalent shot. And again, the advantages in image structure and grain are apparent, but not overwhelming. As expected, the sharpness and grain improve from the 2 to 3perf, while color and tone remain the same. It's important to recognize that color science and technical advantages are not greatly compromised with a change in image size. The features and benefits of film technology remain a constant, regardless of the size of the image. With the car in the barn scene, we again see the differences between the formats in terms of grain and image structure. These side-by-side comparisons are a very effective way to show the differences between film formats. Also, they reveal nuances in image quality that you may not notice in single stimulus viewing. It's important to keep this in mind while watching any type of side-by-side comparisons. No matter what format you choose, these comparisons show that you're going to get a high-quality image which you expect from film. In this segment, we display the 2perf format in two different theatrical projection aspect ratios, the standard 1.85 and its natural widescreen 2.40. We start with a 1.85, then zoom out to the 2.40. You can see how much negative information is available. This shows why we recommend that you protect for the widescreen image and you give yourself options in post. We see the same thing in this scene and the next one. The wider image area of the 2perf can be used for repositioning in post or to maintain the widescreen aesthetic. Two-perf is an excellent option for widescreen projection or direct-to-DVD projects. Next, we're going to demonstrate how careful grain management can improve the image structure of Super 16 and 2perf formats. The ARRI Relativity software was used to minimize the grain while preserving the detail and sharpness of the scene. As we wipe across the frame, take notice of the back wall and how the grain is smoothed out. Here's the same scene in 2perf. Again, observe the back wall and the faces of the men. These flat areas are good places to watch for the improvements. Of course, the grain is better with the 35, but some grain management is still helpful in smoothing the image if you desire. We chose to scan all the comparison scenes at 2K, the current industry standard. However, the industry is moving towards 4K, and we wanted to end this demo by showing the highest quality images possible. First with a scene shot on 3perf. And here's a 4K scan with a 4perf image, the gold standard of the industry, the benchmark that all other capture mediums aspire to reach. Film will continue to deliver this gold standard no matter what the scanning resolution is. If you shoot on film, you're prepared for whatever the future has to offer. As you have seen, you have several film formats from which to choose. Consider the format that best fits your budget and your creative vision.